Tom, for the listeners that may not know you or had a chance to interact with you, I'm going to read a little bit of the mission statement that you set for Dudley Land Company. And I'd love to get a little bit more perspective on why you came up with these values as a part of the Dudley culture. So started off, our first responsibility is to the clients who use our services and products to meet their needs. We must offer the very highest quality of service and products of the greatest possible value. Their needs must be serviced accurately and with a sense of urgency, thereby gaining and holding their respect and loyalty. Um, we are also responsible to our employees and the contract landmen who work with us. Each must be treated as an individual. They should feel free to make suggestions and complaints. We will respect their dignity and recognize their merit. I'm going to go on to the next part. We must provide competent management. Our actions must be just, ethical, and with a sense of urgency. Initiative and creativity will be fostered by giving leaders freedom of action in attaining well-defined objectives. Next part, we must provide opportunities for our employees to grow and succeed. We must innovate and experiment with new ideas. We must learn from our mistakes and constantly strive to be better. You finish it with business must make a sound profit. Reserves must be created to provide for adverse times. When we operate to these principles, we should realize a fair return. I think anybody who hears that, I mean, as a business owner, I kind of get chills reading it, but I think anybody who hears that, they feel like that's something that's honorable to live by. And I think that you did a great job of instilling that into that Dudley Land Company. Where did these aspirations and these goals of, supporting employees and contract landmen and running a profitable business that has a fair return, where did that come from? What instilled that in you?
Like I mentioned earlier, that some of it came from past experiences that I had with a previous employer or person I worked for, that I wanted to do things completely different than the way he did it. And I thought anybody that was working for Dudley Land needed to be respected. You needed to hear if they had input about something that could be done better or something that they didn't like. It needed to be heard. You didn't have to necessarily agree with them, but you had to give them an opportunity to voice their opinions or grievances. And I think when you did, you gave them, you knew that they were listening to you, or I was listening to them, and that their remarks were heard. And in many cases, we implemented change when necessary. I couldn't cover all the bases, and you have employees that are working on a project or something time and time again, and they develop better ideas than I could come up with because they deal with it. You had to listen to what they had to say. Try to think of what you asked me, and that maybe covers the employee side of it, but I just had a lot of respect for the people that help make a living for me, and I wanted to help provide for them as much as I could. I didn't realize when I went out on my own how many people relied on me for them to get a paycheck each week. Yeah. That was a real eye opener to me.
Yeah, and the stress is real. You feel it.
Yeah.
It weighs on you, and that's what causes you to work the long weekends and to take the trips with the compact computer and go get some sales to keep food on the table for not just you but for your employees.
One of the negative things that I would say about myself is that I had a very difficult time laying people off. It was one of the things I regretted the most, and unfortunately, too many times I waited too long to make those cuts, and it had a horrible financial bearing on the business.
Mm.
And I guess through the years I learned that when things got ugly, you have to make some choices that are not pleasant.